No.
Would they hide that we went to the moon? They hide that there's like little funny ET bodies down there?
I think so.
Think so?
Yeah.
What do you think?
You don't really want my opinion.
Yeah? I
think there's
wouldn't ask
something,
if I didn't want
but
it.
okay, there's something, but who knows what it is?
What it is? You know what I'm trying to get at? Go ahead, Rob.
Well, let me just say, whether or not aliens exist or not, one thing that is pretty damn clear is that MJ-12 did exist.
MJ-12, for people who don't know, is this special group of 12 people who were who got together and supposedly cover everything.
After the Roswell crash.
After Roswell.
Truman put them.
Cover up space stuff.
The question isn't if they existed, but what exactly they were doing. And it's very much as plausible that much of what we talk about, the alien phenomenon, is disinformation and partially created and promoted by this group. That, you know, there's two ways of looking at the MJ-12 story. One is that they created this whole hoax story to cover up a lot of high-tech things. There's a great Samizdat document titled The Controllers by Martin Cannon, and the author Alex Constantine has written some great books about this whole subject. The other possibility is that there actually was aliens and that we did back engineer this information from them, and that the cover-up is to hide the truth.
I just find, I mean, I hear you saying there's something else. I just find it so hard to believe that there's these people crashed, they're underground, and everybody's kept it a secret for this long.
Harder to believe for me is that our government could hide it from us. I've always believed the federal government is far too powerful and far too secretive. But their ability to hide things of this magnitude, I think, is
What about, let's go to the big, go ahead.
The U-2 was a secret. The Aurora was a secret.
The U-2 was a secret that blew.
Why would the government want to hide this from us? Why would they want to hide that there's aliens?
Well, the answer is in actually their own reports. I forget the name of the report, but there is one where they basically said if there was a study done and they concluded that if people found out that there was another civilization outside of our planet, it would devastate our country. Actually the entire planet. And you look at history, whenever some culture finds another culture, that's what happens, and it recommended in this report that it be covered up. And even in the film 2001, made by the genius Stanley Kubrick and Arthur C. Clarke, what is the whole basic premise of the story? Well, that they find this outside alien kind of discovery, and what do they naturally do right away? They cover it up and they hide it. I mean, it's pretty logical that that would be the case, because whenever you see something new and it totally crashes all the conventional wisdom, it has to be controlled.
Jonathan, you know, this is what makes me think people are kooks when they talk. I'm sorry, but it's just like, you know.
Robert Sterling is definitely a kook.
No, you know what I'm saying? This is why you end up thinking people are crazy, because it's like, you know, come on. Aliens crashed. Yeah. They look like E.T. They always look like E.T. They're always blurry pictures. They're never clear pictures. You know, men in black, they always show up. Guys in suits afterward. I mean, it's a joke.
Well, I didn't say for a fact that they did exist. What I did say that if they did, that they would certainly cover it up. In fact, they've admitted to it. You can't deny to me that this document does exist. And are you going to argue with the logic of Stanley Kubrick or Arthur C. Clarke? You say you know more than them about how people respond to things?
Now that's persuasive. Arguing with Stanley Kubrick, that's tough. All right, well, what I can't argue with is that we have to pay some bills. We got to do some commercials, so stay with us. We'll be right back on the Full Nelson.
Ski step for man.
Exploring beyond the limits of our knowledge.
I do believe there's life out there.
From man's adventures in other worlds to the close encounters of our world, Fox News Channel investigates where we're headed and what we will find. Call us on hosts. We are the aliens.
President Kennedy was murdered by a conspiracy that was planned in advance at the highest levels of our government, and it was carried out by fanatical and disciplined Cold Warriors in the Pentagon and CIA's covert operation apparatus.
Welcome back to a special edition of Full Nelson. I'm Bob Nelson, and we're celebrating the new millennium, talking about conspiracies. All right, that was Oliver Stone's movie JFK, which you just saw. And I just want to ask people, did it happen? JFK, conspiracy?
I think
guy.
so, yes.
Conspiracy? Or
Yes,
just,
definitely.
Yes, conspiracy. What do you think? Conspiracy?
Sure.
Conspiracy, not Lee Harvey alone.
No,
No.
not the magic bullet.
Yeah, conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Oh, definitely conspiracy.
Is anybody here thinking it wasn't? No one? No one, okay. No one. Who? You think it wasn't? You think he's the only guy? Someone's got to think that.
Yeah, I don't think it was a conspiracy. I think it was one person acting on his own.
All right, let me ask you guys, the panelists, why is it now that we universally think that JFK was killed in a conspiracy, and yet the government insists it was one guy standing alone in in a bookstore shooting?
I think we're looking at the legacy of a lot of government lies about the Kennedy years. And a lot of these lies came out of the mouth of Robert Kennedy and a lot of Kennedy administration friends. There were a great many secrets to keep about what happened when John Kennedy was in office. And some of them, such as covert operations against Castro, the efforts
So you
to
think
kill
they're
Castro,
keeping a cover-up to hide the other stuff? Not that they
Absolutely.
need to hide that he was killed by a conspiracy, but...
I think that what's happened in the Oliver Stone view of this history is that John F. Kennedy has been sainted in a strange way as a man who was going to bring an era of peace to this world, when instead he had aggressive covert action policies. He had close friends through the hierarchy of the CIA. He was cranking up counterinsurgency programs around the world. And this was a guy who, if you're going to believe was martyred, you have to come up with some great...
You're all nodding. You all...
Yeah, I mean, all of that's very debatable, but the reason people know that...
Well, what's debatable about
the
it?
Kennedy assassination is the Zapruder film. Anybody watches the Zapruder film, the evidence of your eyes. He's being shot from the front. I provided you with a copy.
Right.
You can run it now.
Now, John...
Can I jump in for a second?
Jonathan, in your book, you talk about the whole, or maybe it wasn't in your book, John. I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't think it was. I read one of you guys said something about the Dan Rather thing, which I'd never heard before.
That was me.
That Dan Rather said the head went...
Yeah, that his head went forward. He said that he had seen this Zapruder film and that he saw it go forward, when in fact it went backwards.
And you said that they basically reversed the order of the images so it looked that way.
Yeah, and the Time Life, who bought the Zapruder film and then kept it secret from the American public for over 10 years, they presented in their magazine the images of his head, of the death, and it showed the head moving forward, which would supposedly indicate that Lee Harvey Oswald did it. Well, it was the exact opposite. So if Lee Harvey Oswald did do it, why were they trying to cover up how it supposedly happened?
And if I could just clarify one thing, the Dan Rather thing was a radio report before the film was ever shown on television. So what Dan Rather is describing with his words is actually Life magazine, not the assassination. So you can see the coordination of a cover-up in the media.
But now, that would take so much work. I mean, I think it was a conspiracy too, but so much work to cover it up.
Well, it happened. I'm sorry, but I mean, that did happen. We can't